With Uber Reserve, you can book your Uber ride in advance, 90 days in advance. Perfect for all you forward thinkers and planning gurus. Reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. Uber Reserve. See Uber app for details.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means. It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Amazon for all your gifting needs.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well, at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans. Episode 598 of Rams Up. We're going to get into snap counts from that Rams-Saints game, as well as some Pro Football Focus grades and some other good stuff. And at the end here, my Week 14 power rankings. Before we get into that, episode 598, let's talk about a player who wore number 98. It was either 100 or 200 episodes ago, I talked about the greatest Ram to wear number 98. That was Grant Wistrom. Another player that wore number 98, defensive end Kendall Langford, a 6'6", 305-pound defensive end out of Hampton. Drafted by the Dolphins in the third round of the 2008 NFL Draft, the Rams signed him as a free agent before the 2012 season, played for the Rams for 3 years, 48 games, 36 starts. In those 3 years, he got to play alongside the likes of Chris Long, Robert Quinn, and Aaron Donald. So his career, not spectacular, but man, just to say he played alongside those three guys, pretty cool. He was released by the Rams on February 26, 2015, went on to play 2 years with the Colts. Finished his career with 4 forced fumbles. I said that very slowly because try it, it's difficult. And 22.5 sacks. Decent career. Defensive end Kendall Langford, our number 98 for the then St. Louis Rams. And where is Hampton University, you ask? Well, I had to look it up myself. They are an HBCU in Virginia. And you know, there's another player out of Hampton that played for the Rams. That would be defensive end, defensive tackle Reggie Doss. Played for the Rams for 10 years. From the late 70s to the early 80s. Very good player. I will plan on highlighting Doss when we get to, I guess that would be episode 671. Hey, let's take a look at the snap counts from the Rams-Saints game. On the offense, does anything stand out? Entire offensive line, no one missed a snap. 56 snaps for every single one of them. Same with Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp only missed 5 snaps. Just 3 catches though. Tutu Atwell, 22 snaps. That's a bit high for him, 39%. And Colby Parkinson out-snapped Davis Allen, and that's a change. Davis Allen has been leading the pack in the tight end group for a while. Parkinson, 20 snaps. Davis Allen, 18. And Hunter Long, 19. So they're all really tight, actually. 20, 19, and 18 snaps for Parkinson, Long, and Allen, respectively. Tyler Johnson was out there for 8 snaps, and I misspoke on my recap. Jordan Whittington had 6 snaps on the offensive side. Missed that. Xavier Smith had 2. And of course, Blake Corum, his snap counts are ticking up, 18. And I really think the Rams are going to slowly move towards a tandem attack. Kyren Williams getting fewer snaps and Blake Corum more. Just makes sense. Keep them both fresh. Not a ding on Kyren Williams at all. He is a very good running back. Just needs to hang on to the ball. But Blake Corum, he's an asset there. He's a talented guy. We see it. It's evident he can play at this level and be very productive. Let's get him a handful of snaps. Get him a handful of carries every game. That's what I say. On the defensive side, we actually had 4 players that did not miss a snap. Usually it's Quentin Lake, Cameron Curl, and Darius Williams. Kobe Durant out there for every single snap on defense, all 70 snaps, which may explain why there was not an Ahkello Witherspoon sighting. 0 snaps for Witherspoon. Christian Rozeboom was out there for 90% of the snaps. Omar Speights, 64%. What else stood out? Cameron Kinchins, 30 snaps. Jalen McCullough, 21. So that's an uptick for McCullough, just a slight uptick. And Neville Gallimore out-snapping Tyler Davis. Now Gallimore playing more of a nose tackle role, so you see him supplementing Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown, 28 snaps. Gallimore, 21. Tyler Davis, 20 snaps. Deshaun Johnson got in on the action. You know, curiously, I remember seeing a Johnson out there on the field and it didn't hit me. I was trying to figure out who the heck is that. Completely forgot Deshaun Johnson was on this roster. That's how few snaps he's been getting. And Nick Hampton had 3 snaps. Josh Wallace, 1 snap on the defensive side. Of course, he plays extensively on special teams. And before we get to our player grades, got to call out Cooper Kupp. Shout out to him. Most receptions by an NFL receiver in their first 100 games, 625, surpassing Keenan Allen. So another one for the record books for our Cooper Kupp. Now these Pro Football Focus grades, interesting numbers here. The highest grade at Rams were Omar Speights, Kevin Dotson, Jared Verse, Puka Nacua, and Matthew Stafford. Omar Speights, 94.1, the highest graded linebacker. Is that what I read? Maybe they meant inside linebacker, not sure. Now that's all fine and dandy, but then you look at these offensive line grades and some of these numbers are questionable. Well, one in particular, maybe it's a typo, but Blaine Grisiak shared this on Twitter. Alaric Jackson, solid pass blocking and run blocking, right around 70 in both cases. Steve Avila really excelled in pass blocking, 86, and close to 70 in run blocking. Kevin Dotson, 62 in pass blocking, 91 in run blocking. You gotta love that. And Rob Havenstein, very steady, very balanced, 73 pass blocking and 79 run blocking. And then you get to Bo Limmer, 79.5 on run blocking, and we saw it. We have evidence of that. We saw it with our own eyes. Pass blocking, 5.2. Now, I remember seeing Logan Bress grade out at a 0, and I don't even understand how that is possible. And 5.2, kind of the same deal. How does that happen? And I can't wait to hear what Ian and Paul have to say on this subject. I pointed this out to them, and hopefully they'll have some input on this grade. Bo Limmer's pass blocking grade, pretty atrocious. I'm not completely buying it, but maybe I'm wrong. I'll go back and look some more, see what I can figure out there. And on the injury front, Troy Reeder and John Johnson, both ready to return, but the Rams can only activate one more player from IR, and they're going to have to make a choice here, Troy Reeder or John Johnson. And McVay kind of blaming himself and I guess Les Snead we only have ourselves to blame, kind of painted themselves into a corner there. Who would I rather have back at this point? Might be John Johnson. And last note on the injury front, Tyler Higbee, full go in practices, but Sean McVay is saying he's not quite ready yet. He will not be playing in Week 14 against the Bills. Back in a second with our Week 14 power rankings.
Shop Blinds.com Cyber Monday sales event now for some of the best deals of the season. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can handle everything from measure to your whole home installed for one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Save up to 50% site-wide, plus doorbusters and a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, what's going on, Ram fans? I have my Week 14 power rankings heading into Week 14. What do we got here? Now, I did a midweek adjustment after the Thanksgiving games. I'm going to take a fresh look at this, though. Totally disregard whatever it is I came up with last time. I think that was a Saturday podcast. Fresh start. Who do we got here? Well, the first thing we want to do is look at who is in and who is out of the green room. And I have one team dropping out of the green room, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. Just the season from hell really continues for our friends up north. Now Christian McCaffrey is out, and Jordan Mason too. Man, it's just been crazy. And the thing is, they're still in the hunt. You know, they could go on a little roll here and be right in the thick of things, but I can't justify having them in the top, in the green room, right outside the top 12 at this point. And back into the green room, the Washington Commanders. And they finally got back in the win column with a nice win there. And dropping out of the top 12 into the green room, the Arizona Cardinals. Didn't last long. They climbed into the top 12 finally. I finally took the plunge and elevated them to, I think I had them at number 10. And that was a pretty feeble performance against an improving Seattle team and improving Seattle defense. But nonetheless, they are in my green room and completely out of the top 12. And I'm not even putting them in the green room. The Miami Dolphins, I got a little too excited about them, I think, after that win over the Rams. Not a good performance against the Packers. So they are out of the top 12, out of the green room. So who is in my top 12. Two teams that were in the green room have been elevated, and my number 12 team, the Houston Texans, are back after they had lost 3 out of 4, and they come up with a win against the Jags. That was a testy game, and can't be happy with what happened there. The hit on Trevor Lawrence, and I also can't be too happy with DeMeco Ryans' defense of him. A little disappointed in that. Maybe that's what you got to do, but I don't think he handled that as well as he should. The leader of that locker room, the head coach, probably should have taken a slightly different tact, in my opinion. And my number 11 team up out of the green room as well, the Denver Broncos. Wow, that was a crazy game with the Browns. Jameis Winston really putting on a show there. That was a good game, a lot of big-time plays. But Broncos came away with a win. And my number 10 team, moving up one spot, the LA Chargers, kind of steady as she goes. They're just a fundamentally sound, solid football team. Not super exciting for sure, but they get the W's and holding steady as well. The Seattle Seahawks at number 9. They were 9 last week. I'm keeping them there. I feel like there's tiers here, and the Seahawks are at the top of that, let's call it the third tier of my top 12. And when you get it beyond them, I don't think the Seahawks really measure up. The Seahawks or Chargers really measure up with some of these other teams. And who's at the bottom of that next tier? Let's call it tier number 2. I have the Baltimore Ravens there, 8-5, and not impressed with what they did against the Eagles. Are the Eagles that good, or the Ravens? Maybe they're right where they belong, where I have them at the bottom of my second tier. Returning as my number 7 team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 9-3, put 44 points on the board. And this is a Steeler team. I've been kind of hedging my bets on them. They're slowly convincing me, though. I know they play good defense. I know they're well coached. I know they have a great culture there. Wasn't sure about their offense. They put 44 up on the Bengals, so starting to win me over a little bit. Next up in that second tier, the number 6 team. Again, they were 6 last week, and they're still there. The Minnesota Vikings, 10-2. Squeaked out a win over the Cardinals at home. Cardinals, good football team. Vikings at home. I expected the Vikings to win. I was pulling for the Vikings, and that was another really good game. Could have gone either way. Maybe I dinged the Cardinals too much for losing that, going on the road and losing to my number 6 team, who's 10-2. Think about that now. Maybe I got that wrong. We'll fix it next week. How about that? When they take care of the Seahawks, which will do the Rams good, I think. And my number 5 team, moving up 3 spots, the Packers. Another team that they are slowly convincing me. Got to give them credit. Took care of the Dolphins at home. And, the Dolphins do not play well in cold weather. Packers are really difficult to beat at Lambeau. So how much weight do you put on that? Still, Packers are 9-3. And right now, I think they're playing better football overall. Complementary football, the Packers are over the Vikings as compared to the Vikings. My number 4 team, actually no changes in my top 4. This is where we get into the, well, you know what? I'm going to say the Chiefs, my number 4 team, are at the top of tier 2. Another uninspiring win, 19-17 over the Raiders, and the Raiders kind of butchered that at the end. And I saw a YouTube analysis of that ending there, and I know the Raiders center was really upset about how that went down, and I couldn't figure out why. And the analysis was pretty interesting. Now, the default take is the Raiders just butchered it, right? Center snapped it when the quarterback wasn't ready. Fumble. Chiefs recover, game over. But check out what the Saturday Morning Inspection YouTube channel had to say on this topic. Some really good analysis explaining that the refs, in their opinion, screwed it up. I'm not going to try to do it justice, but basically, real quick synopsis, one of the refs blew that play dead and others let the play go on. And when that ref called the play dead, it should have been done and over. Go check it out. Do a search on YouTube, Saturday Morning Inspection. They can explain it a lot better than I. But once again, Chiefs, beneficiaries of a referee bungle. But Chiefs 11-1, hard to believe, really not impressive once again. And then we get into my top tier 3 teams at the top here that are clearly the 3 best teams in the NFL now. Number 3 last week, again this week, the Eagles, a solid win over the Ravens. Number 2, the Bills coming to LA. They thumped a wounded 49ers team in the snow, but still putting up 35 points in that weather against the 49ers defense. But you know what? That 49ers defense, statistically, not all that impressive. So maybe we just need to retrain ourselves. This 49er defense is nothing special at this point. And my number 1 team, the Detroit Lions, 11-1. Bit of a struggle, though, against the Bears. And they also benefited from a meltdown. This wasn't due to the rest. This was due to some really poor clock management. But the Lions escaped. Probably would have lost that, I have a feeling, if not for that screw up at the end there. And that would have changed things in the NFC drastically. So I've got a couple teams nipping at the Lions' heels there for that number 1 seed and even potentially the NFC North Championship. So Lions dodged a bullet there. So that's my Week 14 power rankings. 3 teams clearly at the top there. The Lions, Bills, and Eagles. And then some teams like the Chiefs, Packers, and Vikings, Steelers, Ravens, still have some proving to do in my mind. And then those next three, the Seahawks, Chargers, and Broncos, all legitimate playoff teams. And if they get on a roll, they could be dangerous. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.